Dear students, today I am going to deliver a lecture on attitude as part of our paper Personality Development. Attitude has been dealt here into five parts as usual. Firstly, I would like to give an introduction to what is attitude. Following that, I would like to briefly take you to understand formation of attitude, and following that, I would like to hint you the types of attitude that have been outlined by psychologists. And further, I would like to inform you on the changes that take place in the attitude, following which I have placed my concluding remarks. So often you would have come across people saying that this person's attitude is not good. So, such opinions have been often made by our elders or superiors. So, what is this attitude? Attitude is a settled way of thinking. You should first of all understand that there is something called coherence, and every human being tries his best or her best to provide coherence to his thoughts and action. And if coherence is not there in somebody's action or thought, he will be considered an irrational man, in the sense that he is a madman. And therefore, coherence or consistency is much expected from persons of higher learning or higher social standing. When I was in my college, some of our students intend to imitate the writing style of certain eminent writers, and they used to say that if Nilakanta Shastri comes across this kind of a problem, he will treat the subject matter in such a fashion or style, and if Romila Thapar deals with this particular problem, she will be writing like this. So eminent persons of higher standing like Romila Thapar, Nilakanta Shastri, they had a settled way of thinking which the public knows and for which they are highly respected. And that is what attitude means too. Thus, attitude is a psychological construct. It is also a mental or emotional entity that inheres in or characterizes a person. Some teachers we consider are very kind. Some teachers we consider them as very strict. Some we think that they are very short tempered, and therefore, this psychological construct has come to characterize that person's attitude. In other terms, it may be stated as a predisposed state of mind regarding a value. What value one has about himself or has about the other person or about a particular place or about a particular thing or even a given. So this predisposed state of mind is reflected in mental expressions. Now you know what is attitude. So attitude in simple terms is a settled way of thinking. From here, let us move to how this attitude is formed in our minds. So, the next subtopic is formation of attitude. There are ideas pertaining to certain positions and people. And as we have already said, it is a settled way of thinking. Take, for example, an police officer. So, a police officer we usually think will be very strict in his outlook, which is reflected in his dressing. And as a value, he will be a honest person. That is the usual construct or ideal we have. So, we have beliefs about this person working for the government. So, these are primarily giving notions about what are our attitude towards the police people. How this thinking has come into our mind, or how this idea about a police officer has come to our mind? Because in society, large number of people, they observe the attitude of the police officers, and they have inferred into themselves that a police officer would be like this, and therefore this is reflected in media such as cinema or newspaper or some other form of media, and we have evolved a construct pertaining to a police officer. So values, usually they are expected to be very honest, and rarely we come across news items saying that a corrupt police officer has been arrested or has been punished. And therefore, among 1 lakh police officers, we think that all of them are very honest and disposed towards their duty, and rarely here and there one or two is corrupt, and he is at the proper time arrested and nabbed. And that is the belief that we have. So, formation of attitude includes ideas. Ideas, as I provided this example of police officer, we have ideas about a particular thing. And values, we have values like honesty, we have values like sympathy towards women, and various other values that we can count upon. And we have beliefs, we have superstitious beliefs, and we have beliefs about our friends, about other people, and whatnot and whatnot. So these are also very important. So what goes to determine this kind of formation is the pertinent question. First of all, family. The first teacher in your home is either your father or mother or both. So they socialize you to some kind of uh, social reality that you are exposed to. Maybe it is a police officer, it's a teacher, or some other person. So, being a member of the family, gradually an individual enters into a small society, which gradually grows into a larger society. So, society is the next place where an individual is socialized, and he inherits or he imbibes some kind of social values that have been floated around in the society. So economy, so higher class people, they have their own society, they have their own interest, they have their own taste, and according to that their own attitude is being formed. And these kinds of factors play a vital role in forming the attitude. And there is something called psychologists, they have outlined that there is a structure of attitude that has to be also taken into consideration. This structure is formed by cognitive, affective, and behavioral aspects. But what is dominant and what has a minor role has not been properly outlined, and therefore, this is not taken as a scientifically valid argument. But still, cognitive, affective, and behavioral aspects tend to have a role in forming your attitude. So, from here, let us move to the types of attitude. The types of attitude are also very simply classified into positive, negative, neutral, and second. So, positive is also called optimistic. So, the most expected quality is optimistic. Say, for instance, one of the greatest values that one has to follow these days is endurance, because coronavirus is taking its own toll on people, and its onslaught is still remaining uncontrollable. And therefore you have to endure, you have to follow the directions given by the government, and you have to stand. and you have to positively always think that a solution will come out, and a vaccine will soon produced by our country, and all the people will be vaccinated, and the society will be healthy at a sooner point of time. But if you don't have this endurance, you will give up, and you will think that it is inevitable and we will be affected by the disease. And when you give up, you will become weak and you will be affected by the virus, and you will remain helpless at that situation. So, positive thinking is very important. So, negative thinking is something which is affecting the mental state of large number of people, particularly of the developing countries. There is a very eminent thinker and writer by name Rhonda Byrne, who is saying that if you are having negative thinking, then you will attract negative things in your life, and negative things will take your or occupy your lifestyle, and therefore avoid negative thinking, and you should have a sense of gratitude and a positive thinking. And if you have this, you will be successful in life according to Rhonda Byrne. So negative thinking of any kind has to be avoided. But one point of argument placed by thinkers like Anurag Kashyap, who is into the media, is saying that the negative mind is more creative than the positive mind. So, negative mind also provides you with alternative thinking. But for that matter, we cannot encourage people to have negative thinking. So, negative thinking should be avoided. But if somebody is thinking in a different manner, and it has some meaning, that can be taken into consideration, but a systematic development of negative thinking should be discouraged. And there are other groups of people who are categorized as neutral uh, type of personality or neutral attitude holding people. So these kind of people are easily convincible. And the last category is of sicken uh, attitude, and these people are aggressively negative. They cannot be easily convinced, and they have their own way, and they are least bothered about the interest of the society, and they are always thinking about big damages occurring in the society and also in themselves. Any kind of positive thinking that arises in their mind, they cautiously they avoid that, and they put it to death. From here, let us move towards change, how attitudinal change takes place in individuals. So, here you have to take the target into consideration. The target is the person to whom you are speaking. So, if he is a young person, he will be very convinced of violence or suitable for Marxist ideology and etc. like that. So, they are very sensitive, and in a sensitive manner they react to things also, and therefore uh, you have to be very cautious when speaking with these kinds of people and properly guide them. And source, in the sense, the person who is giving attitudinal change, instruction for attitudinal change is very important. So these days the image of Abdul Kalam has grown multitudinally and overarchingly, and therefore if we say that Abdul Kalam has said this, people are tended to follow that or believe that, and therefore the source is also very important. You have important persons here and there who have overarching image, at least in their locality, and their voice has a very sound reflection in the society. So source is very important, and the nature of the message that they give us also very important. So if they are thinking for the larger interest of the society, then many people are going to support them, and if it is for a narrow purpose, they are going to give up such kinds of thoughts. given by given by eminent persons through their message. So apart from that, cognitive aspect is also very important, in the sense that many people, they receive information and they consider also the source, but they bring into operation their own mind and they make their own judgment, and accordingly they decide. And this is the most matured state of mind, and attitude is perfectly formed in such a person. So uh, he is interested in changing his own attitude if it is wrong. And therefore this is very important stage of change. So with this, let me enter into the concluding part, wherein I would like to say that healthy living in all spheres from the womb of mother is very important in determining a person's attitude. So in Mahabharata, we come across Abhimanyu, who has been instructed when he is in his womb. But whether it is right or wrong, that is not very important. But if the mother is happy when the child is in the womb, it provides a healthy life for the child in the womb. That is very true according to psychologists. And after birth also, if it is introduced to positive colors and also to music and nice sounds, and gradually in a loving environment, then the attitude of the child is going to be very helpful to the society and largely positive. So with this, I would like to conclude my lecture on attitude. Thank you very much.